This idea of having people in the same party with different views, like one pro-life, one pro-choice, or things like that, is something I've always kind of thought about and wondered about. To me, it seems like in a lot of cases there's a right and a wrong. Pro-choice and pro-life might not be the best example of this, but for example, raising minimum wage. It seems weird to me that every study shows that minimum wage, when it's raised, hurts the people at the bottom of the economic ladder, the people that it's supposed to help. So if I support raising minimum wage, I'm wrong, and I should fall in line with the people who are right. I mean, does that kind of make sense? Like, I like Andy's logic of being able to talk to people and being able to practice telling about your beliefs and hopefully convince some of them that you're right. But on a lot of issues, it seems I've always kind of thought that there's a right and a wrong, and so yeah, if you're part of our party, then you should be thinking this.
Yeah,
Does that make sense? I mean,
of course it does. But here's the thing. You're just talking about right and wrong in principle. There's also right and wrong in strategy. Okay, obviously raising the minimum wage is a terrible thing. Why on earth, in a country where the labor participation rate is the lowest in 36 years, would we want to make it more expensive to hire people? Yeah, it's ludicrous. But we cannot send our candidates out there and demand that they toe the line for all our conservative ideals when we have done nothing to move the needle of public opinion on those positions. For instance, minimum wage. Oh yeah, you won't get a majority of people in public who want it to be $15, $20. But you will always find a majority who want it raised. Why? Because of our candidate? No, because of us. We haven't won people over. And so for a candidate to come out and say, I want to eliminate the minimum wage, would be non-strategic. It's unfortunate, but it would be non-strategic. It would ruin them. And then all the other issues that are important to us, we now have a Democrat in office who will kill us on all of those issues. So you may have Republicans who will say, no, I'm not going to come out against the minimum wage because we haven't moved the needle on that. And in that case, they're right. It's self-defeating. We need to move the needle first, and then you can talk about, dealing with the minimum wage. I hate to say that, but it's reality. Changing public opinion first, that's the horse. Changing governance, that's the cart. We got to put the horse in front of the cart. And we've been trying to force it the other way around, quite honestly, just because we're angry at how the country is going.
Yeah, and anger is not a strategy. It's a motivator. It's not a strategy. So saying we should not be against we should be against the minimum wage and we should shout it from the mountains. We should figure out how to make it so that everybody else is angry about the minimum wage and doesn't want to have the minimum wage be a thing before we start making our politicians go out there and try and run on those issues. So just it would be helpful. It would be helpful.
Yeah, but once again, that's not differing. Here's the thing: you won't find many conservatives who differ. When we see somebody like, say, Paul Ryan put out some programs, some of which are fairly big government, right? Yeah, but then we think that he's not down for the cause. He doesn't believe in our principles. Wrong. No, he sees society where it is, and he sees where we want to be. And he says, look, I can't get them from A to G without B, C, D, E, and F. I've got to move them there. I've got to start getting people hooked on a little bit of capitalism, a little bit of free enterprise, a little bit of free market, before I can ask them to give up all of the public support that they're totally addicted to. And he's right. And I hate to say that because look, man, I'm a constitutional conservative. I want instant restoration of what the founding fathers envisioned, of course. But Paul Ryan, you've got all these people in the Tea Party. I know because I'm with them, and they're right. They've got all the right. All their views are wonderful, but they assume that Paul Ryan is a rhino, and they'll call him a rhino all over the place, because he's trying to move society piece by piece to where we are.
if we are focused on choice, freedom, liberty, and small government, that then permits us all to disagree with one another without it being a problem.